Coming up on the Stifel Snow Show, we're checking in with some of the biggest names from the US ski and snowboard teams. Jessie Diggins continues to impress on the cross-country tour. Despite carrying an injury that will seemingly slow her down, it hasn't yet. A young phenom has returned to winning ways on her snowboard and reveals how she's now handling her age. We got the latest from Chloe Kim. And Lauren Macuga continues to be a shining light in Alpine. Having recently secured her first ever World Cup win, the champ will join us to talk all about her big breakthrough and celebration style. Well, hello everybody and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of the Stifel Snow Show. I'm Cara Banks, bringing you the latest and greatest in skiing and snowboarding from around the globe. And this week, we're thrilled to report on a lot of success from US ski and snowboard athletes in some of the most breathtaking destinations around the world. So let's take a look at where exactly the different teams have been competing recently. They're ready to launch. It's aerials in Lake Placid, New York. The women's Alpine have been getting their prep for the 2026 Olympic Games in Cortina d'Ampezzo and Kronplatz, nestled in the Italian Dolomites. The Swiss Alps also welcomed the world's best athletes in snowboard and freeski over in Laax. Next, the para-snowboard team took on the challenging runs in Puha, Finland. And cross-country continued their pilgrimage in Les Rousses, France. Oui, let's start there. The French are known for spreading love, and American Jessie Diggins is known for giving her whole heart and a touch of sparkle to every race. After recently announcing that an MRI following the Tour de Ski showed that in addition to plantar fasciitis, the Minnesota native was also suffering from a partial rupture of the fascia where it attaches to her heel bone. She will now be tailoring her race schedule accordingly so as not to risk prioritizing her long-term health. So before her performance, it was time for her teammate to flex his dominance in the men's race. Les Rousses is always a demanding but fun stop on the cross-country tour and proved again to be just that. The 10K skate challenged everyone. The Stifel US ski team referred to Ben Ogden's speciality as all gas and no brakes, while the Vermont native demonstrated his near-perfect talent, setting the pace at the first 3 checkpoints on the course. Noticeably absent from competition post-Tour de Ski was Norway's Johannes Hausflot Klæbo, causing Ogden to refer to it as a, quote, weak World Cup field, but emphasizing, quote, you've got to capitalize, make hay while the sun shines.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. That's fantastic.
Woo! Some Swiss Gruyere cheese awarded for his podium position of 3rd before sourcing the wine and crackers, though. He added to the now traditional row of US team blue stars to mark his 2nd podium and adorn the ceiling of the team's wax truck, a feat his teammates were quick to congratulate on, including Jessie Diggins, our Stifel Star of the Week.
That was exciting. Is he thrilled?
Yes.
Where is he?
I know. He's still in the finish.
He's still in the finish? Well, I have 5 minutes till I meet Quirk. I might try to go give him a hug. Oh my God! You are not allowed to give away your bib.
I already did.
No! We have to get him another one. Your mom needs that bib.
I know.
See you. All right, what do we got?
We got 2 skis to ski on.
Oh, man. Okay, so we have 25 minutes to decide between these two, huh? What if it takes me 24 and a half minutes to pick between 2 skis? Will you lose some faith in my ability? You know what's super duper awesome? I don't feel my foot at all right now. Well, okay, no, let me rephrase. It's not numb, but it doesn't hurt, which is kind of miraculous. It's not that cold. I think we're gonna freeze immediately after finishing, but in this second, it's not that cold. I don't remember, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. 29 sounds good. Whoops, forgot my bib number. I thought I was starting 5 minutes before I was. There's punctual, and then there's absurdly early. I'm the other one.
So carrying her foot injury, it was then Jessie Diggins' turn to tackle the 10K interval start skate, athlete against the clock. Incredibly, she was the fastest out of the gate with a pace that would prove difficult to catch. She remained steady across the legendary first climb on the 3.3-kilometer course that is brutally the steepest on the World Cup Tour, leading on her poles more than her typically intense strides. nothing can stop the athlete with a smile as big as the sun. A grueling, emotional performance that saw her tumble over the finish line, exhausted, but in first place. The podium rounding out with Germany's Victoria Karl in second and Norway's Astrid Ore Slind in third. Let's hear from the winner.
Oh, it was so fun. I was joking with my teammates that it's like Mario Kart out there, and it was just these downhills were so swoopy and turny, and I love that. And I had some awesome skis, so huge thanks to the team. I was super inspired by Ben this morning and all our guys, and oh, it was the best getting to give him a big hug before our race. So that got me really fired up. And also, we have some very dear friends of the team out here. So it was just a really great day, and I just raced with my whole heart.
Well, now for Fast Facts, powered by iFit, where Diggins continues her lead in the overall World Cup rankings, having clinched her 25th career World Cup victory and 4th of this 2024-25 season. The reigning Crystal Globe champion has now pulled ahead of Norway's Therese Johaug in the overall as well as the distance ranking. Johaug, by the way, did not compete in Les Rousses. Well, coming up on the Stifel Snow Show, we'll head to Switzerland for the 10th anniversary of the Laax Open, a premier event for the snowboard and freeski teams each year. We'll take you there to check in with the likes of Chloe Kim and more next. At 17 years old, snowboarder Chloe Kim became the youngest woman to win an Olympic gold medal at the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. Then at the 2022 Beijing Games, she became the first woman to win 2 gold medals in halfpipe at age 21. Well, now 24, she's a seasoned veteran of the sport, but does that make her old?
So I got on the team when I was 13, and a lot of my teammates were older than me, and I remember them always talking about how sore they were, how they needed physio now. And I would judge them. I was judgy. I would look at them like, are you good? So I just wanted to come on here and formally apologize to everyone that had to deal with my ignorance. I get it now, and I will be resting until my rib feels better.
Gotta love that transparency. All right, well, signature night finals are under the lights. The most anticipated event of the Laax Open. Dropping into the pipe, Chloe Kim serving uber energy and then some. Saying she had a hard time in practice, nothing but dominance was showing. Kim wowing the crowd, becoming the first woman to land a cab dub 1080 in competition. Epic execution. Two-time Olympian Maddie Mastro also coming in hot, laced together a nearly flawless run. Mastro crushing the first ever competition front dub 1080 and becoming the first woman to drop 2 doubles in one competition run. Both women writing history at Laax. Kim taking the win with Mastro in second, Kim also earning her 5th career Laax Open title and a spot in the books as the most decorated Laax Open athlete of all time. While men's snowboard slopestyle also took centre stage, 2018 Olympic gold medalist in the discipline, Red Gerard showing veteran composure. Seemingly effortless, yet massive air and tricks in full glory, including a frontside Miller Flip 540, ensuring the 2-time Olympian from Silverthorne, Colorado, a podium position. Gerard ultimately taking second. Only bested by Canada's Cameron Spaulding by a mere 0.4 of a point. It was bubbles all around. Now freeski slopestyle, where 2 American greats would come out on top. First, Mac Forehand, the 2022 Beijing Olympian, putting down a clean run, citing 0 wind, tons of sun, and not a cloud in the sky as his inspo. Reigning Olympic champion Alex Hall also bringing his best self to the day with a technically impressive run of his own. Hall grew up, by the way, not too far away in Zurich, building his own jumps with friends. Ultimately, though, Norway's Berg Ruud would come out victorious with Forehand second and Hall in third. Breakout Alpine sensation Lauren Macuga is getting up to speed in more ways than one this World Cup season. Don't miss her and her hats. Yes, she's with us on the Stifel Snow Show after the break. The Olympia della Tofane is an internationally known Italian gem of a track that will host women's alpine at both the 2026 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games. This week we were treated to a preview as the Queen of Cortina and the Alpine World Cup made its annual stop in the Dolomites, featuring other superstars from the Stifel US ski team. So the countdown is on. More than 3,500 athletes from 93 countries will be competing for 195 medals in 16 Olympic disciplines and 6 Paralympic sports against breathtaking Italian landscapes. Now, 2026 Milan Cortina will be the most widespread Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games ever, compared to the 1956 Winter Games, which featured the entire Olympics in Cortina alone. It is undeniably a favourite amongst those who have competed there, so we caught up with the women of the Stifel US Alpine ski team for an insider's look at where they will go for gold. It's our Stifel Spotlight.
I love Cortina. Everyone loves Cortina. It's kind of the Super Bowl of the women's circuit.
I think it is one of the most free-flowing, traditional women's speed tracks. There's a lot of elements to it, a lot of speed and terrain and open flowing turns.
It's actually a very fun course and it's very exciting. And it has this chute that you come between there's two huge rocks and it's called Tofana Chute.
Going down this Tofana chute is like one of the most spectacular views that I've ever seen.
I don't know if it's something special about the snow or the views, but before I'd arrived, everyone was telling me how amazing Cortina was, and it absolutely lived up to all the hype.
I think it's just a track that the Americans historically do really well at. Lindsey Vonn, Mikaela Shiffrin, Jackie Wiles. So having the Olympics there, as Americans, we're ready to put on a show.
Calling the venue typical amazing Cortina, Stifel US ski team athlete Jackie Wiles took to the downhill course wearing bib number 1. Wiles counts 2 of her 3 career podiums in Cortina, including last year when she took second in a downhill, just 35 hundredths off the top spot. Wiles, adept at each turn, describes this as a classic track they love, and it was extra nice to be there before the Olympics. Teammate Lindsey Vonn marked her return to Cortina as the most decorated ever, with 12 wins, 6 of those victories in downhill. No stranger then to the track, Vonn received an electric reception from the crowd, but a mistake at the end of her run cost her as she lost ground into the finish. Ever the optimist since returning, Vonn admitted it was probably the most fun downhill. Thought she was poised for another top 5 result, but in her words, you know, that's what happens in ski racing. Wiles ended up in 7th, while Vonn settled for 20th, looking towards improved rhythm and results. On to the Super G now, and don't forget, Lauren Macuga had her first World Cup win recently in the Super G in St. Anton, Austria, so the pressure was slightly higher for her in Cortina, but she held her composure down the course and still managed to carry speed among a few mistakes down the middle. The finish, though, was met with what is a now signature smile, and Macuga punching the sky to the fans' delight as she ultimately took 13th. Well, lightning out of the gate and with splits on par with a possible top 5 result, Lindsey Vonn would lean in and fall in the Super G. Fiery and determined, she just declared herself, quote, on to the next race. She did reveal her goal was to wrap up the second chapter of her career at the next Winter Olympic Games. How to get a pizza named after you? Well, that's for top ski racers only. Being one of the best of all time is a start, but you need more clout at Cortina's famed Cinque Torri Pizzeria to be in menu contention. Since Ted Ligety earned his own namesake pie, Lindsey Vonn, who has visited the pizzeria more than 35 times, eventually got a similar nod alongside her fave margarita. Catch her on the menu next time you're in town, and if you're lucky, in-house, alongside her pup and dinner date, Lucy. Okay, time to leave the pizza behind and get back to the athletes. We are now delighted to be joined by Lauren Macuga, who, of course, recently won her first World Cup in St. Anton. Lauren, looking fabulous and festive as always. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start there, St. Anton, your first ever World Cup win. Has it sunk in, and how long did it take?
I actually think it's finally starting to sink in. I see that award in our room and it's just like, wow, I did that.
Yes, you did. I have to talk to you about your almost iconic celebrations now. Where did the idea for all the American flags and bucket hat, you're wearing one today, where did that come from?
not that many people know this, but I was actually born on the 4th of July, so I've always been a little patriotic. And then since making the US team, I like stumbled upon this shirt and I was like, I'm gonna make this my finish shirt. And it's just this like bandana, like super American shirt. I stumbled across the pants. I was like, oh yeah, I'm wearing these every time in the finish. Like, this is fantastic. This year, Zach Miller, the Paralympian, got me this hat for my birthday. So it's become my finish hat. And recently just got this fleece to go along with the pants. So it's just been a long time coming to have this entire finish outfit. So no one can doubt that I am American.
You are right about that. July 4th baby, though, I love it. It all ties in. I'm going to get onto your family in a little bit more detail in a moment because that's a whole nother story. But first of all, regarding this win in St. Anton, which family member did you call first?
Well, I actually didn't have my phone when I was in the finish, so I couldn't call anyone, didn't hear from anyone until about maybe an hour and a half, and like from when I ran to when I got back to the hotel. So I was like, I gotta call someone, and my dad, I know that if I call him twice, he'll always pick up. So I called him once, didn't pick up. Called him the second time, he's like, oh, like, what's wrong? Is everything okay? And I was like, I won. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, I won the World Cup. He was like, oh my gosh. He was like, you have to call Mom and Allie. And like right then made a group call to everyone. It was so exciting.
Speaking of Cortina, kind of extra special knowing that next year you'll be competing for Olympic medals there. How did you try and channel that this past weekend?
I think our whole team was super excited to be there. I mean, you kind of get like a trial run for the Olympics. And I mean, it was only my like 3rd time on that hill, but a lot of girls have been skiing this hill for a lot longer. So I was appreciative that we got one more chance on the hill before the Olympics next year. I definitely know how to ski the bottom part, have that totally figured out. And just, I think before next year, I need to figure out that top part. And I mean, I'll be ready to go.
Well, someone else who has a lot of experience there is the Queen of Cortina herself. She was in action as well. Lindsey Vonn's return has kind of been the big news in the skiing world this season. What is it like to have one of the GOATs as your teammate?
It's so cool. I mean, she was my idol growing up. I mean, still is. And it's fun to see her like doing what she loves. And she's been so fantastic about like helping us, giving us feedback. Like I can ask her questions on the hill in inspection, and she'll give me an athlete's perspective on it, and it's world-class advice because I mean, well, she is like the best.
It's been amazing to see what a support she's been to all of you, really trying to pass on her years of experience. I hear that your mum has a spreadsheet to kind of keep on track. Let's take a little look. We've got a map here for where in the world are the Macugas this week. Tell me, Lauren, are you across all of this? Do you know where your siblings are at all times?
No, not really.
Oh, well, you're in Germany, as we see.
Yep.
Allie is in New Hampshire. At Waterville Valley. This is because you're all doing different things. So Daniel's he's still going along strong. He's in Canada training right now, huh?
I had no idea he was there.
Well, I'm happy to break the news to you. And Sam is in Japan, in case you didn't know.
I didn't know. I knew Sam was in Japan. I didn't know if she was still in Japan.
You know what? That's what mums are for. And your mum does a wonderful job, as do you, your whole family. We just love this story. Can't wait to watch you progress and continue to show us all your talents this season. Good luck. And thanks for joining us today, Lauren. Well, firsts are fun, aren't they? A hop to Kronplatz, Italy now for some giant slalom action with Paula Moltzan. Her best GS finish before this was 5th, both this season in Killington, Vermont and Semmering, Austria. Climbing from 10th place after the first run to finish on the podium in 3rd, Moltzan becoming the 2nd American woman in her 30s to make a World Cup GS podium after Lindsey Vonn did so in 2015. Well, while on the precipice of a 100th World Cup win, don't forget 3-time Olympic medalist Mikaela Shiffrin crashed in Killington on November 30th. She suffered a puncture wound and ultimately had to undergo surgery, but after a lot of rest and rehab, she is now ready to get back to racing and announced earlier this week on the Today Show that she will return on January 30th for a night slalom in Courchevel. Let's hear more from her chat with Savannah and Craig.
Basically on
Monday, I got in GS gates, and it was my first day of kind of really training GS and trying to ski with intensity. And I was worried about how that would go because this crash happened during GS, and there's just the implications of getting back into GS start. I just wasn't sure how that was going to feel. So it felt pretty good. I think the next step is racing. That's the next step of this recovery. So the recovery is not really over, but I'm strong enough to get back in the start gate, and yeah, that's the next phase of this progression.
Can't wait to watch Mikaela go for 100, but up next, she walks the walk and talks the talk. Three-time Paralympic gold medalist, disability advocate, girl mum of 2. She's all that and way more. We'll show you how Brenna Huckaby has been riding high in para-snowboard after this short break. Well, last episode we featured 3-time Paralympic gold medalist Brenna Huckaby, who was first introduced to para-snowboarding in 2013 after losing her right leg to cancer at the age of 14. A leading voice in disability advocacy, Huckaby won gold and bronze at the 2022 Winter Games in Beijing. The powerhouse athlete who just celebrated a birthday proved herself yet again alongside teammate Kate Delson in Puha, Finland. Para-snowboard cross season was back with a vengeance in the majestic Lapland landscapes, where despite some finicky weather, Huckaby and Delson pulled out the stops in the LL2 classification. A competition class will also see in action at the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Paralympics. Competitors and friends, both with Team Utah Snowboarding, finishing at 1st and 3rd places on the podium. All right, let's check out our upcoming ski schedule. It's Sunday slalom in Kitzbühel, live on Peacock at 4:15 and 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Then later that day, the Toyota Waterville Freestyle Cup, and of course, episode 6 of the Stifel Snow Show next Saturday, February 1st. And please do join us February 4th through 14th for the 5th Alpine World Ski Championships presented by Stifel on NBC and Peacock. That's it, though, for this week's edition of the Stifel Snow Show. I'm Cara Banks. We'll see you next time.